for the last 6 weeks or so, the whole oil patch has started to rebound, in part because the price of crude jumped nearly 10% during the month of September, now trading at more than $50 a barrel, and in part because this group was so beaten down that it was due for a bounce. And it's not just the producers that are rallying here. Strength also extends to the drillers, some of which are totally en fuego. Take Patterson-UTI, that's P10 for you home gamers, which operates one of the largest fleets of land-based drilling rigs in the U.S., as well as providing pressure pumping services that are essential for fracking. These guys have some of the best technology in the space, and they've clearly been pretty bullish about the prospects of their part of the industry. Since last month, Patterson announced that it's buying MS Energy Services. That's a directional drilling play for roughly $260 million in cash and stock. So is the worst really over here, or has the stock possibly gotten ahead of itself? We got to ask these stuff. Remember, for over a year now, every time oil's going above $50 a barrel, producers have aggressively sold futures and crudes come right back down, crushing all the investors who let themselves get too optimistic. Could this time be different? Let's take a closer look with Mark Siegel. He's the executive chairman at Patterson-UTI Energy. Find out more about how his company's doing, where it's headed. Mr. Siegel, welcome back to Mad Money. Good to see you, sir.
Jim,
how are you?
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, you have taken a company over a period where there's been lots of ups and downs, and yet it's been the most consistent of many of the ones I follow. And you are now touting, I think this is very interesting, your financial flexibility. Is that because you were one of the few companies that actually didn't get overextended during the great boom?
Jim, I'd like to think so.
Okay.
We've consistently been a company that emphasized having a strong balance sheet. Right. I've called it before a fortress-like balance sheet. We think that's really important. There's no business with better operational leverage, we think, than this business. You don't need to put financial leverage on top of it.
Well, one of the things that's amazing is that there clearly have been opportunities to think for people to buy other oil companies and stuff, and almost no one's been able to do it because they did go overboard. You just made an acquisition. To me, just sounds like a bargain. And you got the team, and they're staying with you, and it looks like it's going to be really good for you.
We are so excited about this new acquisition of MS Energy. Directional drilling, frankly, has been part of our strategic plan for more than 10 years, but it was finding the right opportunity. People don't recognize that MS is actually the #2 ranked directional driller in the United States.
Better just for our viewers at home that don't know directional drilling and how important that
Directional drilling is easy, Jim. When the well goes down vertically, then it makes a right or a left turn and goes 2 miles, having gone 1 mile down in one direction or another direction. And nowadays we're going multiple directions off of one pad. And so the ability to manage that directional drilling is critically important. There's a directional driller that comes on the rig and does that. It's a very logical extension of our business. Mm-hmm. The sellers were private equity firms that had run out of time. Right. And they needed to sell, and in fact, the management wanted to go with us. It's a perfectly logical extension for us.
Well, let's talk about, there was an article I read this morning which said, listen, all the great shales have been found, so there really isn't going to be a great demand out there. And yet I see tremendous demand for your product. So what's the disconnect?
Well, I think everybody starts to think that there's an abundance whenever somebody's starting to do well. Right. Quite frankly, as you also know, today I think we reached the highest U.S. export level of oil that we've ever seen. The United States has become the marginal producer in the world. And so we're very excited about our prospects.
And there's plenty of oil for you to be able to drill it.
Plenty of oil and plenty of natural gas.
Right. Now, I want to talk about that because you're also in the Northeast. I mean, you're everywhere that there's good selection. Our natural gas is incredibly cheap. How can these guys hire you and still make money?
Well, it's interesting. A lot of the natural gas is being used for manufacturing and for particular uses where it's already set in motion, where there's or for electrical generation. And so there's quite a market for us. And, you know, what's happened is natural gas has displaced coal this year, and that's really a long-term trend, we think, in the United States. It's environmentally sound, and it's cheaper.
I would be remiss if not to say that people used to think that this is a commodity business. You have technology that has made you as a differentiator and also made it so maybe the rig count isn't a really good, accurate picture of things because of how much more you get out of a rig.
Well, as you say, each well has been drilled more efficiently, and you know fewer rigs can achieve more and more success. But quite frankly, you know, we think that that's a very positive trend because it allows for very great efficiency on the part of our customers, and that efficiency allows them to be productive. You know, last time I was with you, I told you that 50 is the new 80.
Yes.
And our rig count has stayed very, very, very flat. And that's all about the fact that people can make money now with these kind of energy prices.
Well, you're one of the few that thought about the idea that you could be opportunistic. Most people didn't. It's why you've got a great company. It's a terrific way to play what we're doing in this country. Tremendous innovation, financial flexibility. Congratulations to you. That's Mark Siegel. He's the chairman of Patterson-UTI Energy, which has been a real winner for us. So stick with Cramer. Booyah! Jim Cramer here from Mad Money. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube. Click here to subscribe and get the jump on my exclusives with CEOs, plus market news, investing advice, and a whole lot more.